Uh, my question is honestly, at this point, should price transparency become a part of informed consent? And the reason I say that, and I might also add, not informed consent that the physician is responsible for, because I don't want to destroy the practice of medicine, but the reality is, should price transparency, point of care price transparency, become a portion of informed consent? A wallet biopsy is not a harmless procedure, especially in the current economic milieu of the United States. That is not the case. Medical bankruptcy, we all know the stats, I won't go into it. But the long and the short is, as a patient is being counseled on their treatment, on the pros and the cons, both pros and cons, should price transparency be included in that conversation in a point of care manner so that a patient can make an effective decision as a consumer, because we call them consumers, but they need the transparency to be an educated consumer about what to do or not do.
Oh my God, I love this idea. Thank you so much for raising that. That is an absolutely excellent point. We can see from our doctor polls that although a lot of physicians tell us, like 8 out of 10 tell us that they are very concerned about prices and affordability, only 2 out of 10 actually talk to their patients about it. And that is exactly to your point. I think that's fantastic.
We had a paper in Health Affairs just a couple of months ago about it was a great study where they actually listened in on conversations in doctors' offices and all these lost opportunities to talk about cost and the effects it would have, the potential of an alternative treatment. It didn't get at this issue specifically that you raised of informed consent, but there's some nice literature on this.
In an altruistic world, in a perfect world, you wouldn't actually ask physicians to make these decisions or to have them basically serve. A lot of family physicians are basically half-time social workers. Like at this point, that is half of your job as a social worker. 30% is paperwork and 20% is patient care, right? I mean, this is ideally we would not have these discussions, but I do think, to a point that Jeff made in the past, right now it's an ethical gray area where, to some extent, if you're going to give a prescription to a patient and they're not going to fill it, is that helpful? So I think like the ideal world would be no, a physician would not have to have this informed consent of saying, just so you know, this is how much it's going to cost. I think the world that we're in today, if we want to actually start seeing people levels of medical adherence go up, it probably wouldn't hurt if 1 in 4 people aren't affording the drugs that they need to stay healthy.
Yeah, but look, it's not a panacea. Lisa's patient isn't helped by,
Yeah.
by price transparency.